Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about how do you deliver evidence impactfully in your presentation. Let's look at what are the different ways how can we deliver the evidence in our presentations that is going to give much needed impact on our audience what we are looking for. As you know, there is a saying, a picture is worth thousand words. I believe you also agree. Because instead of writing something in two or three lines, if you try to draw a picture out of it, then it stays in our memory for a longer duration than reading few paragraphs of text from your textbook. And it has been scientifically proven that there are different evidences. If you wanted to stay in people's memory for a longer duration, then these are all the different types of evidences you should be able to present it in your presentations. And let's see what those different kinds of or different ways how do we present those aspects. If you look at this is the slide what I'm talking about, where we have the presentation wall on the left hand side, and on the right hand side what you have is physically present. And so if you look at this, I have the x axis, which is nothing but which is in the order of impact and also in the order of first hand experience. So let's look at what is the order of impact. So if you go from left towards right, it means the order of impact increases. For example, in a presentation, if you simply write a paragraph text and you expect the audience to go through that text and understand on their own, I don't think that is going to. I think we have seen this enough during our presentations. So that is the least impact way of communicating things to your audience. And the next aspect is quotation. Referring to some popular quotation, the way I mentioned, a picture is worth thousand words. Because that itself is a quote. It has a slightly higher impact, still not much. Let's look at what are the different ways how can you communicate. Picture. There is the saying, a picture is worth thousand words. Really, if you put a picture instead of elaborating in multiple lines, people would be able to get it and they would be able to correlate it better than you expect them to do by just showing or by just reading a paragraph of text to them. And there comes, rather than showing them a static picture, if you draw something on the board right in front of them, and that gives the audience much more impact than showing them a static picture. And here comes graph. Graph is nothing but the trend chart, where it shows how something has changed over a period of time. And if you are showcasing that, that gives even more impact to your audience. And then comes animation. In your presentation, if you have animation, and that is where people's emotional connect comes in, that is where the emotional brain gets activated and it stays for a very longer time in their mind. And then comes showcasing a video. If you wanted to elaborate a story rather than telling them a story, if you put that in a video format and just showcase that stays in people's memory for a very long time. For example, you wanted to uh, let's say you have delivered a project successfully, and you wanted the one of the customer stakeholders to give you a video testimonial that the great job or great work what you have delivered to the customer. So get a video out of the customer. Then comes recording. If you are recording it and then showcasing it, I think that has even more impact. And if you bring that person to the studio or to the workshop or to the meeting and ask them to talk about how they have seen the kind of impact what they have you have made in their lives, what kind of product you have delivered to them, and what kind of success you have delivered to them, and if you can bring them to the meeting and have them talk about their journey with you, or have them talk about the testimonial for the respective project, I think that is much more meaningful or impactful. And there are a couple of other aspects. If you are leveraging a prop, if you are leveraging in the form of a working prototype or a model, that is even more meaningful. And nowadays, who doesn't know and AR? With the change in technology and technologies coming into play, if you can showcase with the help of VR and AR, that again helps you to generate the traction and generate the momentum what you are looking at, within your audience. So these are all the presentation. These are all the different aspects what you have in the presentation world. As you go from left to the right, the impact increases. But if you look at the right hand side, it says physically present. What do you mean by that? Rather, if you have, if you wanted to present in the means of whatever the object what you have in the presentation world, but if you are being physically present and talking about something, even that is even more meaningful, even that is much more impactful, because the audience, they get a first-hand experience of what you are talking about. They get to see, for example, if you are a salesman and if you are showcasing a product, if you are doing a demonstration, then they get to see or they get to have the first hand experience of the product of the services what we are talking. And that is where observe and doing is much more powerful and impactful than having them only to observe it. For example, if you are giving a demonstration and if they observe, they they pick up or they consume, they grasp little. But if you make them to do it, you showcase them in the first instance and then you ask them to do it right in front of you using the same prototype or device or do the demonstration themselves, then it is much more impactful. Then they have this sense of accomplishment that they were able to use your product. So, this is what we use in our presentation world, and by being physically present, obviously we improve, enhances the first hand experience. And this is what I wanted to talk about in today's session. If you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, I would be happy to hear from you. Please let me know if you have any questions for me, and I'll see you in our next video, next session, where I'm going to talk more about our executive communications. Till then, have a great day, and I'll see you soon.